What? And we're doing it live. Do it live. All right.
Do it live.
Our 2-hour timer has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 hours to get this done.
Let it ride.
You know, there's a whole thing that I want to say at the beginning of this episode. You notice that the lower IQ somebody has, the more words they have to say in their whole like copy text. Like for people that send paragraphs as replies in Discord, so to speak, when you get into arguments like that. I believe it was Mark Twain who said something to the effect of, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't have time for a short reply, so I gave you a long one."
I didn't have time for a short reply? Oh, well, it kind of makes sense.
Along those lines, but either way, that's what my experience with Mage Ascension has been. When it comes to all this.
Yeah, it is very wordy. Like, this book had a little bit of trouble with.
It feels like this is just the thing with Mage, that at the beginning of this episode, I'm kind of getting into like a little bit of a tangent here. I have been immensely disappointed with my journey into Mage Ascension when it comes to evaluating these games. Because, Kyle, you know that the minute I started reading War of the Apocalypse, I immediately clung to it when it came to a game.
Well, yeah, it was very succinct, I have to say.
And same with Vampire the Masquerade. Now, the reason why is that it's always been lore when it comes to this kind of stuff, and it got to a point where me and you want to start doing this ourselves with this channel. But there were moments in Vampire and Werewolf that were actually profound. Some very good stories, like, for example, everything involving Sola and Tremere, and how that's one of the best stories in Vampire the Masquerade. Or any and all things involving the War of Tears, and the ultimate tragic cycle that is War of the Apocalypse. I have never had a moment like that with Mage. Going through Mage Ascension, I've never had a moment where I thought to myself, this actually is making me feel some type of way. This actually sounds a little bit deep. I've never had that. And it's been that case with every single group that's been involved in the meta plot, from the Technocratic Union to what I've been reading about the Hermetics. And it feels like some groups are just fucking there. Like, you're just here to fill out what another tradition isn't. You had stuff involving the Celestial Chorus and the Order of Hermes and the Sons of Aether and the Virtual Adepts, and I think that's it. If you're talking about plot critical traditions, it's just those 4. And
yeah,
you have to use
a lot of it
doing
seems
stuff
like an actor,
because Euthantos made the main villain when it came to traditions, like evil traditionalists. Euthantos, it's their fucking fault for it, and Hikashi Yano have to be there too. But in terms of contributing to the meta plot, the Cult of Ecstasy, even though I really do like them, the Verbena, and now the Dreamspeakers have a whopping 0 contributions to Mage Ascension.
Yeah, after reading like the history, I kind of like began to skim over it instead of reading deep, because I'm like, half of it's just like random. Oh goodness, my volume's speaking. Let me turn that.
No, it's fine on my end.
Okay, yeah, just making sure. But like a lot of what I read of this was just kind of like, okay, yeah, shamanism got fucked over by by the Inquisition and by
yo white folks is demons. You'll take away everything from me. Where's my reparations at?
Not really.
By the way, I'm the welcome POC for this video. You need one of those for the Dreamspeakers.
We got a black Johnny in his profile picture. That's how you know. So that's how you know this.
But it just really didn't have a whole lot of substance, this story. I'm having a hard time finding anything to really like cling on to.
I mean,
it has some interesting
really
ideas, but like, not much else past that.
It really doesn't. So here we are. I got this page up on screen, like the fucking page involving the PDF. I'm borrowing off a Dice Scum for this, because it turns out nobody actually gives a fuck if you have some of the pages on the screen. This is written by one Nikki Ria and Jackie Casada, where I've gone through some of their stuff in the past. I didn't really think it was that unique and that incredible. Let me get my insurance policy in here too. You're going to hear this in 3, 2, 1.
Now recording.
That sound exactly okay. Just in case this goes horribly wrong with OBS, we have that as a backup.
Good to have backup.
All right. So Dreamspeakers. All right. Involving what we got here, Nikki Ria, we got Phil Brucato, master of fucking facts and logic. Phil Brucato on the first edition book. This fucking guy, every time he shows up, I immediately lose excitement to see his name. But
what else has he done so far?
I mean, he really is just Mr. Mage. Everything So much of what I do not like about Mage the Ascension comes from Phil Brucato. I just do not like his work. I do not like the way that he develops games. I don't like the way he makes mechanics. I don't like anything he has to do with Mage the Ascension. I think it was
Yet
a genuine...
he's the mage guy, to our dismay.
That it was a genuine mistake to make him the lead developer for Mage the Ascension. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think Mage the Ascension as a game is worse than Wraith the Oblivion.
Really?
I genuinely,
well, I mean,
I genuinely do think that.
That does make sense, because we've had like a lot more like deep moments talking about, you know, morality and you know, the lore structure and, you know, the functioning society of the dead in Wraith the Oblivion and all of the tragedy and hope that comes from Wraith the Oblivion. Mage is just kind of noisy, in all honesty.
Where when it comes to mechanics, I think when it comes to mechanical density and tightness, that Wraith the Oblivion probably was one of the best ones they ever did. It's very good. I think Vampire's a good game, but there are some ways you can really exploit the system in Vampire, and Wraith I think is very tight, and Kindred of the East I actually think is a really good game when it comes to mechanics. But with Mage, JoJo, you're in the Mage game I run on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen June roll a skill check that does not involve the Arret score?
At least a good quarter of the time, half the time. Which would still mean half of your rolls are using your powers, which is still an abnormality for most games, even werewolves, at the exclusion of combat.
Exactly that, because once you figure out how to make your magic subtle, you really have no reason to roll a skill check in Mage.
I never need... Like, there's a good reason why empathy isn't a stat in that game. Literally almost every Spear of Magic can be a form of Detect Lie at a Ret 1 and Spear rating of 1.
Because you really don't need empathy as a mage, all said and done.
Spirit 1, I can just do Detect Lie on everyone by seeing their spirit, because there's a literal spirit if you are lying or not.
Exactly.
Same thing with Mind.
Because this is what I mean with Mage Ascension, is that the Arret system is so overpowered by its nature that there really is no reason to have a character sheet beyond just your spheres and your Arret score. But
just Arret that shit up. That's it.
Because going into this, because
well,
I honestly do think that Mage the Awakening is a better game than Mage Ascension. But going into this, we're doing the Dreamspeakers because
you wouldn't use your Arret score to fire a gun.
Because JoJo and Slouista both want to be a part of this because they've been looking into a bunch of shamanism and a bunch of animist ideas, and they have a lot to say about this, which is why they're here. And why they both asked me to put their profile pictures in the thumbnail for this episode.
Whereas like in PFPs, yeah. So I asked you to put Marina in this game.
Oh, she's in there. I hybridized it. You notice I'm an asshole. That's what I'm known for.
Oh no!
That's what girl. That's what I'm fucking known for. Come in. All right, so we go into the very loose definition of history, which is shared visions. This whole chapter right here, where they just say, well, we have this whole two-way dialogue here, blah blah blah, but basically they say in both first and second edition that there is no real history section with this, because as you will notice with the Dreamspeakers is that they never are on the same page with each other. This is
for the most part,
very loose definition of what a tradition is supposed to be. Now, what I mean by this, you know, with the Celestial Chorus, how your key definition of being a chorister is you believe in the one. That's what you need. You need to be a chorister. But the Dreamspeakers have that as well. So what's the big difference? Well, monotheism is the big difference here. With Celestial Choristers, you just believe that all came from the one, all exist out of the one, and that from the one you will return, and that is what Ascension is supposed to be, is being at the right hand of God. And you have Dreamspeakers that say that, yeah, we do believe that there is a one who made the world, but they can't tell you who the one is supposed to be, and they don't refer to him as the one. Some of them want to say it's God. Some of them want to say it's Gaia. Some of them want to say it's the wild. Some of them want to say it's Izanagi or whatever local mythology you have of a creator deity.
It's Coyote. in the case of the native speakers.
Yeah, your mileage may severely vary depending on what dream speaker you talk to. And they say so themselves at the beginning of this book, and then they say it again in revised. So instead, we get stories about how different groups within the dream speakers think that creation happened. We begin with a story from an Aboriginal man who says that, oh, we all just hung out in the dream time. Slouista, that's your people talking here. That we all just hung out in the dream time, and after the creator ancestors made the world for us and decided it was good enough for us to live in, we all left the dream time and came into the real world. And that's the plot. That's the plot,
Okay.
involving Aboriginals. And then you go down and you have the Dream Priest of Africa. Okay, well, what do you mean by Africa? They specifically Yoruba mythology they're talking about here, where they say that we came from a creator deity known as Olorun, and he came down and he made us all, and he made all these different tribes as well. He had these different gods and goddesses with them, like Yemonja, the Queen of Dreams, and that she created the world around us and all these other tribes, like the Fulani, the Dogon, the Ashanti, the Zulu, the Himba, and that we all came from the Ivory Coast of West Africa. And after we did our business in the Ivory Coast, we spread out all across the world, and now we're here as a bunch of disjointed groups that have very little, if nothing, in common with each other.
Essentially speaking.
Basically that. And then we go
And in a situation like that, can you bring everyone into the fold? No, you can't.
Well,
A lot of them like to stay as disjointed groups.
For example,
some of them don't consider themselves dream speakers.
How many languages are just in the African continent alone?
Oh, there's like dozens of them.
Even more than that.
Beyond dozens.
Hundreds of dozens.
Within individual countries, say here, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there's at least about 8 or 10 languages, if my memory serves me right.
Exactly that.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's estimated anywhere from 1,500 to over 3,000 distinct languages.
Exactly that. So you want to get all these people on the same page, on the same currency, on the same culture?
Nah, it's not going to happen.
No.
Pan-Africanism is a complete lie, and not even actual Africans believe in it to a large scale.
Because Afrocentrism died for a reason.
It's because we all lost our mind, and instead of just trying to build a better community, we wanted to create some weird ethno-state instead.
And along with that, too, where you just can't have the shikis and the medallions and say, oh, I'm Afrocentric. Okay, well, what part of Africa are you from? Are you actually representing your real heritage here, or are you just wearing a Halloween costume? That's where we get into this shit. We have the Native American version of it, where we have Coyote Thunder of the Apaches saying that we were made from a guy called Wick, where I think we want to replace that C with an L and that K with a D, and you'll be onto something. And that he partnered up with the Earth Mother and made all of our people, and he was in the sky, and all of humanity was in the sky with them. We chilled up with a guy called Raven, and there might have been a guy called Cody with them too, and they all dropped a seed from the sky that landed in the ocean, and it grew into the continent that we know today as North America, and then maybe 6 other seeds were thrown out as well, but those don't matter. And then we jumped out of the sky and landed on the ground, and now we have this world on the turtle's back, because the seed landed on the turtle who was swimming, and the continent grew on his back, which is where we get the Croton Totem World Turtle, for example. And now we're here. End of story.
Now you notice a general theme here with all the Dreamspeakers origin stories. We just kind of just stopped there. There's nothing past this.
Yeah, we just came into existence, and even with the Keeper of Balance with the Aztecs, where we said, oh, we don't even know where the fuck we came from. We just knew that there was a feathered serpent, there was a smoking mirror guy, there was a guy who didn't have any skin, jaguar and eagle tossed everything they knew, Sheba, Lanka, and Hunapu, and then they dipped, and now we're here.
Again, you noticed the theme again. We don't expand any further on this. Okay, so what did you do after the creation mythos?
We instead told the story of the people of the Kahuna with the Polynesians of Hawaii, saying we know even less than the Aztecs did, and we just know that there was a volcano woman, and then we speak to her and pay tribute to her, and that's it.
And let's just like completely forget about East Asia, even though it
even
also
more
has a bunch of
complicated.
shamanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a comic out there that's fucking Kino called Cat Shit 1, where they actually went into detail about the native, indigenous, tribal members of Vietnam and how they played a part in the Vietnamese War. Imagine if we have that as a dream speaker, but then also imagine that if we have it as a dream speaker, and how fucking long this section is going to be alone if we go over every single tribe's mythology, one after another. We don't have enough time for that.
That'd take forever.
But that's definitely going to be up to the 2-hour limit.
We would go from a tabletop RPG channel to like an anthropological channel.
We would turn into extra history.
We'll turn into what if history. We'll drink kratom out of an octopus mug.
We'll turn into not red pill, fucking Republican extra history. Instead of I was about to say here, no, we also rag on Trump on this channel.
I thought you were about to say Coach Red Pill. I was about to shed a tear in memory of his name.
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Why do you have to die, man? It's not fair. And
it's not fair.
It's not fair. It should have been you, but it wasn't.
Oh, fuck you!
I'm talking to someone else. But yeah, we have a whole lot of other voices here like saying, hey, here's a bunch of other names we have. Are we actually going to explain where the word shaman comes from? Well, kind of, sort of. It's like the Evenki word saman, as in the one who knows. I've also heard it comes from Siberia, where it means he who sees in the dark. But, you know, we could have gone into detail like, oh, with China, we were talking about somebody called Nuwa. Or in Japan, Izanagi and Izanami were dripping water off the tip of a spear to make land. And this can go on and on. But the whole point of it is that the Dreamspeakers can't even get on the same page about how their own origin story happens. And to the point where they say, we don't even bother telling you this history we don't even bother telling this to other traditionalists until after 1466 with the founding of the Council of Nine. We don't even bother with that.
They go further into shamanism in a book called The Spirit Ways.
Exactly that. And like, what's shamanism even supposed to be? It's you connecting yourself to a spirit realm, so to speak. You being a mediator between this world on Earth and the spirits. And the spirits are guys that, to brutally simplify it, people that you need information out of that are neither alive nor dead. It's not like necromancy at all. You're speaking to...
It depends on the mystic tradition. And some use the example here of the Sufi mystics. Hicks do believe in jinn, which are technically their own unique, distinct life form.
Yes.
That have like finite life. They just occupy a different realm of existence that's parallel to ours. And the same general belief applies to other religions and cultures.
And so when it comes to this kind of stuff, how much are you going to stand as an actual unified force if you can't even agree on the same story?
The answer is not at all.
This is what you're seeing in America right now, Kyle, because we have such a tribal divide in America right now between the left and right. Where
their manufactured opposition worked like a goddamn charm, and now billionaires run the world.
One says America's a great place with nothing wrong in it, and the other one says America's a terrible place where everything went wrong, and because you've got the two sides biting each other's heads off, you're actually forgetting who the real villain is.
Yes, politicians.
And that's the 0.01%. All the rich guys that own all of the wealth.
Keep in mind, the real enemy of Mage Ascension is the Syndicate.
And so because it's so hard to get everyone onto the same page in the Dreamspeakers, really that's kind of their legacy. It's just communication itself.
This is what the group boils down to ultimately, because you're ultimately just a group that just exists, so to speak. You just exist. You're just here. That you're just a bunch of people that all sit around a circle and you smoke the piece and pipe and you do the peyote, and then that's it. You just silently wait for the knife of the Tenocrats to come to your neck. And
despite the different languages and the different cultural traditions, they try and ease things over that way. And that's really as far as they've gotten with anything. That's
it really is. And
I was going to wait to say this one, but the Dreamspeakers literally are in the same quote boats to Verbatim of doing next to nothing for the entirety of their history.
Because the Verbena are just
did
objectively wrong about everything. Well, actually, no, not objectively wrong. Factually wrong about everything. And that's where the Verbena get their supposed strength from. It's just through the power of being wrong. I'll save the day. But because the Dreamspeakers, the way their origin comes from in 2nd edition is that they broke off from the Verbena and became their own thing after the Verbena lost interest in the spirit realm and just focused on the earth, and only the earth. And the Dreamspeakers
okay, so
were the
I
only ones
wasn't hallucinating on that.
They were the only ones that were actually paying attention to spirits, because the Dreamspeakers knew that Gaia existed in a spiritual sense, and that all this resonance comes from Gaia herself, the spirit. But the Verbena didn't want to listen to that. They instead are focusing on Gaia, the material, and completely abandoned that aspect, only for Revised kind of pitch a hole back in and turn the Verbena into this very confused group where, are you pagan actually? Because the Verbena really aren't. That's not what paganism is. It's druidism. But there's this neo-pagan misunderstanding that completely strangles the Verbena as a faction, to the point where the entire book of Verbena Revised is just fucking nonsense. Just stuff that's wrong. Now, I'm not even talking about like Verbena wrong, but I'm talking about like the writers themselves don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
In a way, it's like the Verbena wanted what they didn't have. Like, what they had wasn't good enough. They wanted what the Hermetics had, and they weren't good enough to have that.
No, because the Verbena themselves can't get on the same page with each other either. Because when it comes to the neo-paganism, the Dreamspeakers are more neo-pagan than the Verbena. Because when it comes to some of the gods they list off in this book, some of them are gods from previous mythologies, like Quetzalcoatl, for example. Or Tezcatlipoca, which you can take as a totem and of the apocalypse.
They bring up Coyote himself. They bring up Raven, which are major figures in predominantly North American indigenous cultures and faiths.
Yeah, you're in contact with actual deities that the social chorus has completely turned their back on because it doesn't fit their paradigm. And does that necessarily put them on the same level of power as the One? Well, no. The One is still the One. There's nothing that can really compete with the power of the One. But in the World of Darkness, the One has departed, and it will not return until Ascension happens. Probably, depending on what scenario in Ascension you use. But they're close because the Dreamspeakers, from what I can understand with the paradigm, is that they are trying to be a mediator and a shepherd of the world. They're trying to get in contact with these spirits and keep them happy while trying to get humanity in contact with the spirits, because they believe that if the gauntlet just did not exist, we would live in a happier world. But they also know that there's a lot of dangerous shit waiting for you in the Umbra, like the worm, for example. Banes, stuff that will just bite your head off in one move.
Weaver spirits auto-possessing you and you becoming drones. The insert wild spirit here, turning you into a weird tentacle H-anime monster. Can I use the actual word there?
You can say that because Digibro still has a YouTube account.
Turning you into a weird tentacle hentai abomination monster with horrific Down syndrome.
Kyle, how dangerous is a spirit encounter in Road to Apocalypse?
Very. In fact, it's perhaps one of the most dangerous things you can do. Because there's a lot of shit that you can't just outright kill. And, that's your main defense as a werewolf. But against a spirit enemy, you have to have some next level willpower or some next level gifts.
Now, let me turn it on its head. JoJo, how dangerous is a spirit to fight in Mage Ascension?
Instead of just answering that bluntly, I'm just going to tell you a quick story, everybody. In that Mage game, we needed to fight a spirit. We outnumbered it 4-1. I nearly died 5 times in a row, and throughout that fight took Nissa with Johnny changing the rules to fit Mage so he wasn't doing ag damage to me. Took over 25 points of ag damage, lethal damage, throughout that entire fight. I was either healing myself or getting healed by that damn thing.
Exactly that. It felt like you were playing a Darkest Dungeon encounter.
I was playing Fear and Hunger. The enemy's AI broke, and it zeroed in on me for about 8 turns in a row.
I rolled a d6 to see who I was
going.
going to target. It kept landing on 3. That was you.
It blew my arms
That's
off.
terrible.
It blew my legs off. It bisected me twice, vertically and horizontally.
And
that sounds horrific.
And thanks to Vulgar Magic, you survived. But
Vulgar Magic, if I performed anywhere outside the Umbra, I would have started occurring paradox and just exploded anyway.
Now keep in mind, the Dreamspeakers are performing most of these spells within the Umbra, but that's still a dangerous place to be because, sure, can a mage really let loose in the Umbra? Yes, they can. But so can every other spirit around you. And even then, spirits don't have to operate off of paradox anyway because they can still manifest themselves in the real world and kick your ass there. This is why you.
But of course,
what?
But of course, they're a tradition that believes that their magic comes externally to them, at least until they become sufficiently powerful that they just have to accept that their paradigm is bringing the power from themselves.
Yes. And
normally, like a Ret 5 to like a Ret 6, and the Dreamspeaker starts coming to that, partially at a Ret 4.
When it comes to, like, back to history with this again, here we have the Yo White Folks is Evil section of the book, where, in terms of history, the Dreamspeakers only joined the traditions because the Social Chorus came to them and said, well, no, not the Social Chorus, Order of Hermes came to them and said, hey, there's a group out there called the Cabal of Pure Thought that really wants you dead. If you don't want to die, you gotta join us. And they said, well, we don't want to die. What we gotta do? And they said, you gotta occupy the Sea of Spirit. We got the Solificati, and we got the Battini to do some other seats. Here are some other guys. Here's the traditions. Just stay with us. If we need help, we're going to call you. Just don't die. And then that is the only contribution they have to the meta plot. They had a few issues where then Afandi realized that they were buddy-buddy with the Order of Hermes and assassinated one of their archmages. And then the Celestial Choristers tried to forcibly convert them into Christians, and they didn't do that. And there's still some bad blood between the Choristers and the Dreamspeakers to this day. But they don't really go anywhere until the Cabal of Pure Thought, aka the mages who would become the NWO, started to actively hunt them down during the Inquisition, which they survived. And then we have this fucking stylized span poem going into this. This is basically being a leftist in 2026 for you summarized. And it says, oh, we were just enjoying ourselves in Africa and Native America until them whiteys came over and started killing all of us, thinking that they were in the Indies, and then they stole over our land, and we never got our reparations back, and they made everything worse for everybody, and you already know this shit because you went to school. Me and Kyle, we went to school post-Clinton years, and this is the kind of shit that gets hammered in your head during the curriculum in social studies.
Hey, please, you think that was bad? My teacher dedicated an entire month to the Reconstruction era and dedicated like an entire week to like the Pride movement in America.
Oh Jesus! I never got that far, thankfully.
This is why
I can assure you, those are some of the more tame stories.
Class.
Another one of my teachers was hell-bent on trying to prove to me that Latinx is actually the correct way to call a Spanish person gender ambiguously.
They would rather have you call them a slur.
Class.
You can't...
Yeah, I asked Archie about that. Santiago, all the Spanish people I have talked to about that, native, like, ethnic and cultural-wise, all hate it.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist in the, in the Spanish language.
It's an entire language where every word is gendered. You can't do that.
Exactly.
It's impossible. And then we go to the rest of this too, where we're saying, oh, we had stuff like the Enlightenment, we had stuff like, it wasn't just that you colonized the land, but you had Charles Darwin out there that had to say that we all evolved from monkeys. I'm not being racist, I'm just being scientific on you this. Charles Darwin says you're a monkey.
Well, guess what, you progenitor plant? Guess what? We came from the dirt of the Garden of Eden, and God, or depending on your religious perspective, Gabriel, brew life into us. We ain't come from some furry animals. We came from God's garden, and and from dirt we emerge, and from dirt we return. Amen, brother. Amen.
I sent you that
Good
video
Lord.
yesterday about the fucking preacher shouting at Nacho Spade.
Trying to get I Show Meat to repent for his
You
sins.
just called me a
like
monkey.
Muslim.
Charles Darwin says you're a monkey.
Whereas I suppose the dream speaker perspective on evolution would be closer to stoned ape theory.
Is that, we're now the Joe Rogan experience, everybody. Here's the Joe Rogan segment.
We got so high, we didn't come back down. We saw reality.
It's
we
entirely
heard
possible
colors
that the
and
Dreamseekers
tasted
were on
sound.
DMT.
Well, speaking of that, the first edition book brings up the CIA killed a lot of Dreamspeakers that way.
Exactly that, to prevent their thoughts from being spread. And then they said all of Earth was discovered, and they got rid of the wanderlust of all men. And then Darwin said the thing. And here's a whole section over here about the division of the Dreamspeakers. I did not think this was important enough to really bring up, but for all of you at home, you can pause the screen and read it for you if you want. And then we go into Science and Unconscious, where the Dreamspeakers have beef with Freud for saying that dreams are just your subconscious showing you memories and making sense of what your thoughts were that you didn't get to finish when you were awake. And then Carl Jung came and set everybody straight with the idea of the collective unconscious, which I actually do subscribe to. I do think that's real. And that there are archetypes where, in case you're wondering, if you ever thought in your life, why do we have nothing new? Why is everything the same? Well, it's because of the archetypes. That's why. That's your answer for you.
Yep.
And along with it, too, the Dreamspeakers really fucking hate Karl Marx. It's in the book.
Well, immediately, who wouldn't hate that man? He single-handedly got millions and killed through his nonsense beliefs.
He says, they say to him because Karl Marx said, everything that ever happened in history has just been class divide. And that the only reason why anything motivates anyone is money. And that's it. Where, Master Facts and Logic Karl Marx, this guy was a narcissist who wanted the government to just pay him for being smart. And really did make the world a worse place by getting Frederick Engels to print the Communist Manifesto. Where we've had instances in the past where a communist system has worked, but that was always in a small environment, not a whole nation doing that. That's always...
And that would work in like a small travel setting where it's like, there's enough people where it's like every person there in that village.
Exactly that.
Communism can only work on like a family or tribal structure because there's a level of self-accountability and shame for your actions. In comparison to a scale of anything past that, even like a few hundred people, it completely collapses. Is from the lack of self-accountability before basically robbing everyone.
Is.
As much as something like that might appeal to the Dreamspeakers, they have all of these language barriers.
That was close. That woman was naked in that picture, but thankfully she's covered up her ham sandwich in her chest. All right, we're safe. The video saved.
I know which page of Dreamspeakers 1E you're looking at, and I have to say is nice.
Yes. Nice. I like my ladies fat. With all this.
That's a full-faced lie. You don't like ladies at all.
Kyle, post a pussy picture in the chat, please.
No.
Yes. I edited that picture with you. We put the ham sandwich on that woman together.
No, you ruined it is what you did, and we're not bringing that up.
You know how the stones to get a pussy commissioned. It's gonna have this. So now we have this entire section of the book where it's just the fucking Yappuccino segment. It feels like I'm listening to a Dark Side Phil video on page 25, where
none of it makes any goddamn sense.
They do bring up that being a shaman, you don't choose being a shaman chooses you. That the life path will find you if you're supposed to live this kind of life path. And it comes to you through stuff like a near-death experience, or the wild himself gives you a phone call, or spiritually, of course. Or somebody that's within the Dreamspeakers sees some gumption in you and gives you the offer. Or you're directly in touch with spiritual beings like the Garo Nation, for example, where a lot of Dreamspeakers will work with the Garo Nation because a lot of Dreamspeakers have realized the worm is the reason why everything is so fucked up in the world of darkness, and they will fight alongside the Gar Nation for it. But there is a bigger enemy at play, more so than the Worm, the Technocratic Union. Not necessarily the Weaver, but the Dreamspeakers really, really fucking hate the Technocracy, which is the only thing that's really keeping them in the traditions by this point. Their mutual hatred for the government.
And you know what? Kind of based.
Because they're telling it like it is, the NWO really wants them dead. Because after all, when we did the NWO episode, you noticed how frequently they tried to just destroy the fucking world. They said, oh, the best way to fight a Dreamspeaker, I would just serve the Worm directly. For a day, of course.
Let's just commit genocide on an industrial scale. I'll lead all of them out. Cough, cough, everything you did to the Americas. You single-handedly fucked the Pure Lands, NWO.
But this is...
Shadow Lords helped you in that psyop, but let's not talk about that.
But it's a life that you don't choose, it's a life that chooses you. And to put that in perspective, there is a house of the Order of Hermes, I'm forgetting their name, but it's not that important, just an example, that will learn the Spirit Sphere, but for very different reasons. The Order of Hermes wants to lord over and control spirits directly with that sphere. Because when you're fighting the devil himself for control of the world, you need that kind of domineer and conquer attitude. You can't be a nice hermetic, that's impossible. Now, a Dreamspeaker will learn the Spirit Sphere to be somebody who's on the side of the spirit and trying to mediate affairs between the real world and the spirit world. And they'll point out that just because you know spirit, that does not make you a Dreamspeaker. Because every tradition will learn spirit for their own reasons that will serve ultimately the paradigm of the tradition that they're from. Where, why would a son of Ether want to learn spirit, for example? Think about that for a minute.
Be able to craft fetishes slash make his experiments go easier by being able to literally talk to his science experiment in real time.
We will go
and perhaps to help travel through space.
We could do that.
And being able to enter the Umbra as well.
We will capture an electricity spirit in a jar, and we'll put it inside of my engine and have it run forever.
Use Spirit 4. Not Spirit 4. Yes, Spirit 4 to carve a deep hole into the Umbra and go into deep space and be able to harness anti-ether matter from dark matter found in space. To be able to harness white power in the white power dimension.
And same with the virtual adepts, because the virtual adepts get brought up a lot in this book, revised in this edition, because there's a lot of overlap between how the internet works and how it's similar to the dreaming. Because in the World of Darkness, the internet was not made, it was discovered. There's an entire internet dimension that you can connect to through your computer. And we've just gotten better with it over time. And I will say it does lead to an identity crisis with the Dreamspeakers, because if the virtual adepts have the cyberspace that thoroughly locked down, then do the Dreamspeakers even have a place in that? Because there's concepts down here about a technopath mage.
Yes, techno shaman.
Yeah, and I feel like you were close to something really cool. You should have gone down the same path that the Adeptus Mechanicus did with that character. You should have gone down the same road as that. Where
blend the wild and the weaver together. Obey both spirits, because they're the only two ones at this point that lead to curation. But hail the blessed machine.
And this is what I think I was going to say this earlier, but I forgot the train of thought. That the Dreamspeakers feel like they were just here just to give a seat to the Spirit Sphere, because it feels like they have as much to do as the Hollow Ones have something to do with the plot. They don't. You're just here. You're just here as a player option, and thankfully you didn't go down the same level of utter stupidity that the Hollow Ones did. But once again, the Dreamspeakers just kind of exist, and that's it. Now, granted,
I think it's kind of because if they did their thing, it would solve too many problems.
It would. This is the fucking issue you have from the Ascension. You can't be these almighty people that are cheating reality, and the world is still the way it is.
Just like the other week, I was talking of Slouista just about what Dreamspeakers could do, and figured out you could hypothetically cure Luna's insanity by making her happy again by seeding life on all the moons. there's next to nothing from stopping a Arret 3 or a Arret 5 Dreamspeaker from doing that, which there has to be tons of them by this point throughout history. Well, even then, you don't even need Arret 5. There's ways to do it as a Arret 3 Mage of Correspondence and Spirit to just go all the way up to the moon. And with the Life and Matter Spear, just start transmuting all the dirt and rock into grass, trees, water, ocean. You single-handedly basically brought back one of the major Celestine spirits, and brought them back from being batshit insane.
And using the dream time, you could unify all of the dream speakers across time.
You could, because I know why the Celestial Chorus and the Hermetics can't do these sweeping changes, and that is because of consensus. Because your average sleeper is sheeple that will refuse to acknowledge magic when they see it, and this goes for both in-game and IRL. And I see why the Tenocracy has such a deadlock on the world, or alternatively, if you subscribe to this theory, the Nefandi are that far ahead in the Ascension War. But I do not see why the Dreamspeakers haven't accomplished more. Because there's so much stuff, specifically with werewolf problems, or problems caused by werewolves, that the Dreamspeakers could have solved. Because you remember Bat, Kyle? You remember the Bat totem, the former Camazotz totem that has now gone fucking insane after Camazotz died and sided with the worm?
Yes.
How quickly will that be resolved if the Dreamspeakers did something?
Probably almost instantaneously.
Yes, there's so much.
They're outright like mind, prime, and spirit is all you need to uncorrupt a totem spirit or any spirit in general.
Or how much you'd be fucking up Malpheus, where if you had the Dreamspeakers that were... What I think should have been done with the Dreamspeakers, and to get them involved in the meta plot, is that if you had the Dreamspeakers be entirely hands-off with the material plane with the Tellurian, that they were not going to do a damn thing about it, and that you did what you did with the Void Engineers with the Dreamspeakers. The Dreamspeakers were the group that was in the Umbra, keeping everything under control in the Umbra, where you had this whole Umbral battleground going on, and the Dreamspeakers were the only ones that were equipped to handle that. Because there is very little Umbra that gets brought up in this book. And what really chaps my ass is that with Mage the podcast, they would frequently bring on these Mage writers, and almost every single fucking Mage writer, both old and 20th edition, had an axe to grind with Werewolf the Apocalypse. Specifically because Werewolf defined what the Umbra was going to be before Mage could. But here's the thing, you're writing Mage the Ascension, a book where reality bends to the will of the Mage to an extent, so why couldn't any of you have done fucking anything else besides just complain about Werewolf? You think about this. It's easier for you to complain than for you to actually accomplish something with your writing.
Yeah, like I've brought this up multiple times.
We're gonna write about our own high Umbra that just has nothing to do with your Umbra.
Yes. Yes. It is the Umbra. Like, when you pull up the map of cosmology, Gaia is a dot in the center, and then so much shit around it is the Umbra. Gaia's plural can fit within the Umbra. So why can't you just go out and develop something more impressive?
That's
well,
what
because obviously they want
that they do. In actuality, they don't even do that. Initially, when first reading this, I believed it was just Dreamspeakers just fucked off to like the deep Umbra and would build their own civilizations
that makes more
and
sense,
rules like
yes.
living God. In reality,
I mean, honestly,
they don't.
that'd be pretty sick if that would have happened. I mean, like, oh yeah, we have to go and, tend to the Mother Earth and Father Sky, but also, in order for us to, it would have given it so much more structure. And yeah, I know we said earlier, it's like, oh, there's all these disparate factions with all these, varying theologies that really wouldn't mesh well together. But with the ability to transcend realms, you would think that maybe you have a council of archmages that represent each of the major sects of the Dreamspeakers, like a big hall of elders of archmages, somewhere in the deep Umbra or in the Dreaming or somewhere like that. because they have the ability to do so, and the book just doesn't expand upon that whatsoever.
Let me describe this to you. Imagine this concept. You have a group of Dreamspeakers that are Norse, like Norse pagan, that are chilling out in the Yggdrasil itself. They're in the branches. They built a whole city in the branches of the Yggdrasil like a nest. And that they look down over the edge of the world tree, and if something's going on, they pat one of their guys on the shoulder, say, get down there and do something, and he jumps out of the tree down to earth, and he has this chronicle of Mage the Ascension. How fucking wicked that would be. Or
It would be sick.
Or you have a group of Aztec Dreamspeakers that are in Xibalba looking for Apuash, who might be an entity of the worm or Melchon Incarna, and they're actively fighting against his army of the dead, preventing it from reaching the earth. Some wicked shit like that.
Exactly.
And you just don't see it in the Dreamspeakers book, because so much of this book has wasted its fucking time on more reparations and shit like that.
I was too busy trying to become the POC mages to actually be the spirit mages. I think being a POC made you a spirit mage somehow.
But the thing is that, like, the Uktena did a very similar thing, and they did it so much better.
Yes, because they tend to have a plan. This is why I said for multiple episodes, why from my perspective, the Garou Nation was in the process of absorbing the Dreamspeakers, because what the fuck have the Dreamspeakers done? And the real visionaries that are dealing with the Umbra are the werewolves. But this is the fucking thing, is that from the era this book was written into today, there is this whole like victim mentality culture for anyone who is not brown in America when it comes to writing for brown people with American property. You have to focus so much on this victim mentality and victim culture that, okay, you're a victim. Is that all you're ever going to be? Is that all you want to be defined as? Do you just want to be seen as this poor baby where the white man needs to give up what he has just to prop you up? Is that what we're doing here? Is that place? I find that as a more harmful idea than just being like an out and out racist person, like shouting slurs on the street. That you honestly believe that minorities, insert minority here, can't support themselves, and that you need to go in and you need to fight for them. And that's what this book smells like to me. That's what the revised book also smells like to me. That's what the entirety of W20 and Mage 20 smells like to me too.
And 5th edition.
The 5th edition, there's not going to be in Mage 5th edition. There ain't going to be.
Yeah, not Mage 5th edition, but definitely Werewolf 5th.
They're never going to write Mage 5th edition, because the entire fucking Ponzi scheme where... Kyle, you notice that every book that Paradox and Renegade have made for 5th edition, they do a GoFundMe first for like $40,000, $30,000, $20,000, get paid up front, and then fucking no one buys the book when it comes out, because you made all your money up right out the gate through your fucking GoFundMe shit.
Yeah, it's the same thing that went with the Yogscast video game all those years ago.
Yes. This the thing you've got. There is no money to be made in tabletop shit, and you know this, which is why you do this GoFundMe business model. But going into this, on my screen right now, well, it's been on screen for a while. Here are your 4 big Horizon realms, where we got Najia Panda, where get the idea of the panda bear of your brain. This is not in China, from what I can tell. Apparently, it's the Iroquois Confederacy, Pacific Islands, Australian Outback, Great Plains, and Rainforest and Savannah combined into one 6-biome world. Where the leaders of the Dreamspeakers all meet and basically do fucking nothing. Then we have Onikari, which is the Cherokee Sweet Lodge that is in the middle of Asheville, North Carolina. And it no longer exists because of Hurricane Helene.
Which makes little to no sense. Why wouldn't they reconstruct the node? It shouldn't be that difficult, except if it was like a New World Order.
That's me saying that, JoJo. That was 2024.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm like, that does sound like something the technocrats would do, like big control weather.
Where you get Marcus Vattel and his weather control to do that.
Stop foreshadowing stuff in the Mage game. I know what you're pulling. You're going to start World War III and make a nuclear apocalypse because of those J's.
Marcus Vattel hates the J's, and he's going to hit the big nuke button.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to need to tell his wife to call off World War III.
You gotta
You know, a nation might find it advantageous to be able to create a storm.
I gotta go ahead and just get an AI voice mod in Discord of Pete Hedgeseth and just have that be Marcus Vattel.
That'd be good, actually.
We got.
I mean, you had Danston as Alex Jones in the Rage Underground. He actually does a pretty good Alex Jones impression, if I gotta be perfectly honest.
He smokes more cigarettes than me. It only fits.
I actually don't smoke. I
He
rely
has
on
to
the
start
whiskey to do
smoking.
it.
It'll give you a voice for radio.
I already have a radio voice.
We have the Yambula Kitino, I believe I said that right, which is in Yambula, ripped straight out of Zimbabwe. And it's just a city where you can go to, and it's your cultural hug box, so to speak. In case you want to say fuck the world, you can just go into the middle of Zimbabwe, and there's a city waiting for you. We found Wakanda. We have actual Wakanda in Mage the Ascension.
I still don't know what the hell they were trying to cook with this.
And then we got the Lodge of the Grey Squirrel, which is Tecumseh's lasting legacy, and it's been on the screen for fucking ever already. Just go there if you want to find a buffalo. It's all it exists for.
You would notice a general theme here. None of these have any other forms of shamanistic practice other than traditionally colored ones. None from Southeast Asia, or even any quote European traditions either. They just forgot those existed apparently.
See, let me just open me a link. Yeah, there it is. There's on my screen. That's ultimately what the Dreamspeakers book is about.
Place it in studio notes. I can't see it.
I'll show it to you in just a second. No, you gotta watch the video to find out why I posted.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
You're trying to inflate that viewer count any way you can.
I'm not using bots. I'll say that. I've never used it. I can go ahead. I can pull up this history tab right now, and I can show you all the inflation shit I've been looking at, but there's not a single bot thing in that. Let's go into this. Meeting in the spirit world.
I like how you have the willingness to admit one, but never the other.
Well, if Pyrocynical says it's okay, then so can I.
I think Pyrocynical
is different in the fact that he's British and makes dumb jokes, and they're all referential.
He wants to come inside the pyro. It's what he's known for. But
I still kind of don't trust that man, so I don't think that's a good example.
But we have, like, meeting in the spirit world. Like, yeah, what we're seeing right now on the screen, meeting in the spirit world, that really is all the Umbra is used for. It's just the meeting ground. It's the VR chat of the Dreamspeakers. You just go here, you make appointments, you do your calls, you do your RP, you do the dream cry to summon more of these guys, and then that's fucking it. That's all the Umbra is really used for. So your spirit sphere, you have a sea of spirit, and then this is ultimately all it boils down to.
Let's not use spirit matter in prime to make spirit matter life in prime to basically make our pocket dimension realm where we rule like God. No. Let's just use this like VR chat.
Let's have this be the holy Discord call. And that's all this is. And
let's ignore the fact with spirit in the amalgamation of any other sphere, I can infuse spirits into my magic to either attempt a sidestep paradox, or use spirits to increase the strength of my spears of magic. Use a fire spirit in combination of forces 2 to make the fire burn longer and harder it normally should, in the most blunt form of using those spears.
Because what are you supposed to do with the Dreamspeaker? You're supposed to be like the summoner. You're like the summoner from insert RPG here, let's say Final Fantasy. That your job, your spells, is that you're summoning spirits to come over, appear, and then do your fighting for you. As long as you have the Gnosis or Quintessence or whatever resource you need in order to pay the spirit for its services. That's what.
In fact, it might all be around you being able to make the pacts that enable you to summon the spirit that fights the big bad evil guy.
Yeah. Or as JoJo's been playing as Marina in our Mage game, he's been the teleporter, where he is the key bearer between the Umbra and the material plane, where he's been opening portals to get us in out of sticky situations that we otherwise couldn't handle by ourselves. Or
I keep on
Honestly,
pushing that game's plot forward.
exactly that.
I
I'm
think I just
harmed.
got an interesting idea now that you mentioned like the whole thing about, getting the spirits to fight with you.
Yes.
You could sort of make Dreamspeakers into like a commander mode
Yes.
where it's like, if the worm decides to like, throw a tide at the Umbra, say like if you're a Dreamspeaker in Australia or something like that. And so like you basically have to, free spirits and create sort of like a guerrilla warfare campaign in the Umbra against the worm's corruption in Australia. I think that'd be kind of fucking awesome.
You could do that, but there's also a way you can play the Dreamspeaker that I feel like is very easy to understand. You play it like you're playing a Yu-Gi-Oh game. You're setting your stuff in place, you're summoning your monsters, your spirits in this case. You're setting up your spells for different situations that are all utility based. You're setting up traps. You are a backline fighter through and through. There are ways you can make a physical Dreamspeaker, but more often than not, you're almost always a healer, an area control, or utility build with the Dreamspeaker. That's what you boil it down to. It's a
You are the wizard.
yes. Your plan as a wizard. Well, we'll say for example, the Order of Hermes is definitely a warlock or sorcerer made for a damage build, and you have your bard with the Cult of Ecstasy, your druid with the Verbena, your cleric with the Celestial Chorus. The Dreamspeaker is ultimately the guy that can do everything except for direct damage. At the end of the day.
But even though you could get a lightning spirit to do that for you.
Exactly that. And same thing. Do you remember us being a werewolf channel? Granted, we're assuming some of the audience already knows about this, but the benefits of playing a Theurge in Breath of the Apocalypse, and just how useful that is. Now, you take those Theurge aspects from Werewolf, and you emphasize them even more with the Dreamspeakers. Every Dreamspeaker essentially has the same power and role as the Theurge, but it's a little bit more of a benefit to it. Because even though I criticized the ret system at the beginning of this video, it is a lot easier to have you hit a power ceiling than the gift system, because the gifts is a drip feed of power in Breath of the Apocalypse. Granted, you start off very strong in Werewolf, where JoJo, we showed Mandrick just how much damage a Garu Alrune can do in combat last session we did with him.
It's fucking genuine. The man just had to pull out an entirely new enemy mid-combat because he didn't expect us to get it over with in one turn of combat.
He didn't think I was going to do 16 points of damage in one turn. But
he didn't expect me to use a level 1 gift to just set the enemy on fire and do constant 4 ag a turn.
And to your benefit, they never fully wrote out the rules for that gift either. I swear to you, create elements is an unfinished gift. I swear to you.
I think it's pretty sick, in all honesty. I use that so much as Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, just like if we were to use this with the laws of physics, if I were creating 100 pounds worth of fire here, according to how much mass that would be, that's an entire inferno that could kill anyone in a single second.
Actually landed a hit on Vigo with that. It's the only way I could have possibly damaged him.
Exactly that. That was your 1 point of damage, and even then it still wasn't enough to kill him.
No, it was not.
That's because Vigo is a menace to society. Calling him the Antichrist is an understatement.
He is, and that's why I love him so much. God, I miss playing with Ham.
He is the golden one. Well, he just happened to get married and get his life together.
Yeah, I know, and God bless him for it. But Jesus Christ, he was so much fun to play with.
And well, if we had a morning game, we'd probably get back in contact with them. So Kyle, let's both quit our jobs and go find a night shift job somewhere.
I'll go back to work at the Dome Depot.
I'm telling you, you have better relationships with your employees when you do a night shift. Well, not your employees.
Well, yeah,
your
because you don't have to deal with customers. You get to just kind of like fuck around and do what you want. As long as the work gets done, nobody gives a shit.
Exactly that. Now we go into actual role playing as a Dreamspeaker, where I described before, like how you're supposed to play these guys when it comes to your magic. We'll get into the spheres later in the video, but your avatar, so to speak. I actually do like that first edition listed out what their essence was supposed to be when it came to your paradigm. If you're picking a pattern essence, where I'm not even going to say the ethnic names because fuck it, no one actually cares. With your pattern essence, you're focusing on the upper realms of the Umbra. Stuff like the ethereal plane or the legends realm. You're directly getting your magic from quote unquote heaven that is trickling down to you and is giving you your power. Even though I said the technocracy is the key villain to the Dreamspeakers, the Dreamspeakers have nothing bad to say about the Weaver. They have nothing bad against the Weaver. They have nothing against the Weaver at all.
That's kind of strange to think about, because since she's technically by werewolf lore, she was the one who set this whole shit in motion.
Oh yes, and Changing and Dreaming, she is the unspoken villain of Changing and Dreaming. But according to Dreamspeakers, it's not the Weaver who's evil; it's her followers who are evil, and she has no greater evil follower than the Technocracy.
Which is half right. Right? It isn't even the Weaver herself is necessarily evil. It's just that she's way too vindictive and controlling for her own good.
Exactly that.
The Weaver's capable of getting her stuff together. It's just that she chooses not to.
And even when it comes to Ascension scenarios, the Weaver never plays her hand in an evil way in these. Because in the Revolution will be televised, she doesn't come to the aid of Technocracy in that scenario. Her union just gets felt on their own. And
which immediately, that's because if the Technocracy kind of wins, their end goal would be to destroy the Weaver. It's just that they don't have access to spirit, ergo can't kill the Weaver.
To deny her existence, but because of computer with a capital C, you've set yourself up for failure, so the minute you achieve the NWO paradigm, that's when you get spray glued.
Exactly.
And
again, it's the reason why they hate them in particular, not the Weaver herself.
Yes.
It's the slave of the Weaver making the world a worse place.
The Technocratic Union does not realize the sheer amount of damage they're doing.
It's the reason why I can't respect them. And if they win, we all die. It's the objective bad ending, right behind the Nefundist.
In the reverse way, if you have a primordial avatar with the Dreamspeaker, you're getting your powers through hell. Fun.
So like actual Malpheus.
Yes, you're for the atrocity plane, Malpheus, that kind of evil shit. But it's not in a way that's going to corrupt you. You're getting your powers from what?
How?
Well, you're mastering over it. Your power comes from more destructive elements of nature, where sure, some of the nicer parts like the trees, the rocks, the volcanoes, you can draw your power from that, but it's still like bounce worm related. Where even though I have this on my screen where the description isn't as nasty as I'm making it out to be, you're still getting your parts from the lower part of the Umbra, so the more destructive parts of nature, for example. Because would you say a tornado is of the worm?
No, not intrinsically. No. It's just a force of nature.
Well, technically it is. It is, but it's balance worm. Because after all, something needs to be destroyed for something to be restored. We were talking about fear and hunger a minute in the video. JoJo, yep. You remember how Grogaroth is spoke about in that game? That's how the Dreamspeakers see the worm. Where
correct, he's not a malevolent force. He's just death, because without death or the ending of things, life begins losing its purpose. If it's just a gradual upwards with no change or no meaning given to it, you need some type of struggle to make life worth living. Is the way I view it.
Now that's
the way it's stated for fear and hunger.
Now that said, Slouista, they still know that there was an enemy to fight in the Triadic Worm. They know that the Balance Worm has been replaced, and that the Triadic Worm needs to be stopped. There's no question of that. But the Balance Worm himself, he's fine. You have no issue getting power from him, or power that resembles his. And
much like how Garu could learn a gift from a death spirit.
Yes.
So just because it's a death spirit, they don't go, it's a bane, it's a worm spirit.
Yes. Exactly that, yes.
Bat is technically a wormish totem, but learning a spirit from Bat, learning a gift from a Bat spirit when it just auto-corrupting you.
Same with Utena. Same with him. And
Big Utena, my goat.
Right.
Oh, greatest totem of them all, come at me.
I need to adjust my back a second. I fucked the shit out of my right shoulder, and I need to adjust the way that I was sitting because I was trying to put pressure on it.
You gotta get you gotta get a muscle hook.
I've got the the fucking like heat compress patch stuck to my shoulder as I speak. So
That'd be good.
I forgot what the fuck this thing is called. But
for all of our European viewers, welcome to U.S. healthcare. Both me and Johnny are fucked for good.
it's
maybe for
I can turn my head to the right, but I cannot turn my head to the left. Then we have the dynamic sphere. You're getting your power from Gaia herself with that power. You're getting your power from the world itself, your resonance with the Gaian spirit herself, and so your avatars are not so much wild in nature, because a dynamic avatar would be wild in essence and resonance, but they credit that power to Gaia. I don't think the person you're talking to actually is Gaia. I think it is the wild.
It would make sense given all they can do.
Interesting thing is, I initially wanted to be a primal primal avatar or a primal essence. It's just that the work initially only being told it was wormish is what threw me off.
But no,
if I knew it was more so balanced worm, I would have taken primal. It's fun.
Now, granted, you have had to deal with the Gaia Femur all the same.
Well, yes, in that case, if I ever learned entropy, it sucked, because all my entropy spells would have been worm corrupted. And
lastly is your questing avatar, where, funny enough, with the questing avatar, it's other people you get your resonance from. You don't lean so much on nature, you lean on the spirits of other men for your power.
This makes a lot of sense, because shamans are about serving the community.
Exactly that. You're a more philanthropist kind of shaman with the questing avatar. More humanist. And
yes.
There's stuff down here about the protocol. Here's a man using knife spear to turn into a werewolf. Fucking bootleg ass magic. The changing seed is completely worthless in Mage. I hate Mage.
yeah. I mean, Samuel Haight could have just gone to the Dreamspeakers and figured that out.
Instead, he just had to be an asshole.
Marina over here, the local stolen Yuktana, formerly kinfolk of Dreamspeaker Mage, and with a couple points in quintessence to overcharge my spells, I could turn myself into a werewolf anytime I want. Now I'm a rat 4.
You could, yes. And we have this kind of stuff here. We have like values where the Great Tarche. I think this idea is a little stupid. I'm just going to skip over that. So very much like the Fianna, the family unit is super important to the Dreamspeakers. Arguably a little bit too important to the Dreamspeakers. Because your family identity and your cultural heritage, if the Dreamspeakers don't have that, they have nothing in their opinion. You need to know where you came from. You need to acknowledge your ancestors. You need to remember what your history is, even though nobody really seems to know where they come from in this tradition. And everybody has their own different story that wildly contradicts with the other stories. But, you know, it's your contradiction. You're gonna own being wrong in your own personal way.
And you don't have an excuse for not learning it, because you've got your ancestral spirits there to teach you.
You've got that. Celestia, you got the Aboriginal character from the very progressive movie as your Dreamspeaker Mage.
I'm a 16th generation Aboriginal.
that movie's humor was like so unfunny, it looped right back around to being funny. Because the politics of that movie was so fucking heavy-handed, there was no misinterpreting it.
You gotta love it. It's the best.
This is your brand on Australian flash animation.
Johnny just broke himself with that fucking joke. Oh, man.
Next up is teaching, where having a very strong oral tradition for you to suck your own penis with is very important to the Dreamspeakers. Once again, it's your own identity, your tribal identity is so fucking important to you that it gets in the way of actually doing anything as a Dreamspeaker. And now we get into the ranks. You have their own words, where I'm not going to really use these either, because, I don't know, they don't fucking cite where the fuck these words come from. You have Seekers, which are your apprentices. You're a brand new Dreamspeaker, new kid on the block. You haven't really proven yourself in any way. You're like an Ret 1 mage. You just stepped out, and now you're recognized by the Dreamspeakers as somebody that may or may not make something of himself in life. Next up is the Initiates, where you have some accomplishments, some personal accomplishments. You've gone to Vision Quest. You spoke with the ancestors. You fought the worm. You fought the technocrats, and you won. You now are given more responsibilities amongst the Dreamspeakers. Next up is the elders, the wisdom keepers, and the spirit guides, who are all the same thing. Like, elders are more oligarchical politicians. Wisdom keepers are exactly that.
Right
They
masters,
hoard,
really.
and spirit guides are, once again, pretty self-explanatory. And then Revise goes into way more fucking detail with the factions than First Edition does. But no, First Edition really did say all it really needs to. You have Keepers of the Sacred Flame that are the head council of the Dreamspeakers that just live in the Jia Panda, and they're essentially are this giant group of old people with a hug box, and that's all it really boils down to. The Solitaires, which are the Keepers of the Sacred Flame, but they just hug themselves instead of hugging their other fellow geezer. Ghost Wheel Society, which is the Black Pill faction.
So basically, yeah, it's like, they're just like, oh, everything that we fought for originally doesn't work anymore, so we gotta do more technocrat things to beat technocrats.
One quick thing that just
They're
reminded
diet
me
glass
of something
walkers.
with like Ghost. It was, for whatever reason, Wraith the Oblivion. I get it wasn't fully written out yet by this point.
Right.
It's just never really brought up with like Ghost in general
They never
with the
do, and
Dreamspeakers.
It gets ponied off to the Thanatos, even though the Dreamspeakers would have had something to do with it.
Yeah, like you have the Spirit Spear. This spear you specialize in second most is mind. Your whole thing is renovating your ancestors and learning from their tradition. But you don't have anything to do with Wraith. This flat out allow you to directly commune with your ancestors and learn from them.
At no point do you ever go into the Shadowlands, or the Dreaming for that matter. When does Fae have a lot of things that would interest you, Dreamspeakers?
Yes. Yes, indeed. Matter of fact, here, I'm going to go deal with them in a couple weeks.
Why is the Order of Hermes directly interacting with Fae, but Dreamspeakers aren't?
It's because the writers are catastrophically biased and didn't bother to write anything for the
fucking Order of Hermes gets
In the
everything.
first edition, they do briefly mention changelings.
They do in the revised
yeah,
edition.
very,
that's in the
very
relationship
briefly.
Section. But
the relationship section is kind of disappointing and underwhelming in this book. I got to be perfectly honest.
Revised, I just stopped reading it because there was no important information in it.
There really wasn't. I mean, I can go over it pretty quick. But like,
we'll go into relationships after the faction shit. Where
we're still on that. I forgot.
Yeah, the red spears are basically your racist boomers of color, where they just fucking hate white people and want to kill them, and that's essentially all that group really boils down to.
It reminds me of the
as wizards.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Dave Chappelle bit where it was like, there's nobody more racist than an old black man. You can have an old black man walk up to a white dude. How you doing today, sir? You need anything, let me know. Cracker ass, cracker.
I live in Charlotte. You're not wrong saying that. The Four Winds, where you would assume this would be like some sort of like Conan the Barbarian shit with that kind of name. But I read over this, JoJo, and even then, I still don't know what the fuck these people are supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, I did the same thing. Still have no idea what the fuck these guys' goals are.
Yeah, so like they identify with places, and they bargain with the Iwa, which are supposed to be like avatars that you can speak to, and mortals alike. And the stuff that the Dreamspeakers were already doing.
Yeah,
I guess
just
their
more
main
specifically.
Purpose, their main purpose, I just guess, is to appease the spirits of like a particular landmass or culture, which again, you as a Dreamspeaker are supposed to know already.
You should be doing already, because that's the responsibility that should fall to all of them. The Baruti, which are people that sit around the campfire and sing their campfire song, their CAMPFREFSONG song. If you don't think they can sing it faster, well, you're wrong. But would help if you would sing along. Next up is the Contraries, where these are guys saying, what you think you're doing sucks. Back in my day, that wasn't alive for it. Everything was better than what we got. everything you've got today sucks. Imagine my society where we sacrifice children. Everything was better there. I'd never think about that. And then fucking it's rituals defense. This shit isn't even worth reading over. Okay, let me just go back to the Discord transition screen.
What are you all missing in rituals here, everybody? Just consort your actual local shamanistic, I don't know, community person, and they could give you far better rituals than what this book tells
Go
you.
ask Grok. Just ask Grok for it.
Come on, respect, act to culture. Go talk to actual members of it, followers of it.
All right. Okay, so there's the pages I'm looking for. So I'm not like flipping through the book and we're just like skimming past pages. All right, there we go. There's the pages I'm looking for. The relationships. So Kyle in Revised Edition, they completely alienate the Dreamspeakers by just going to line and saying, we don't really have anything to ever do with the Thanatos and the Akashics, and we don't like the choristers, and we don't like the Hermetics, and we don't have any interest in speaking to the Celestial Chorus, the Cult of Ecstasy, and then the Virtual Adepts and Sons of Ether scare us, and then I feel like we're missing a faction, and then we don't ever speak to Verbena, and then we don't do anything with Technocrats, and we don't do anything with the Defondi. Okay, so great, you just made a group that completely isolated themselves and has nothing to do with anyone.
Well,
first edition, they're a little bit more cooperative. Like they mentioned in the book.
I was about to say here, are you talking about first or revised?
Oh, in revised. In revised.
I read
okay, yeah. I was about to say they're at least in continue.
It really is like how it really is just the parts who don't do anything in revised.
I mean, hey, sometimes that's what you need. Like, you know, they're like Valve. Don't do, but the problem is they don't take any W's. If we do, we never know about them.
Well, I've never been to Scotland, and I've never been to England, and I've never been to Ireland, and I've never been to Spain, and that's just the entirety of this revised edition. So that
basically,
is.
I don't know.
You
At
just
least the
don't
first
get
edition, they say it's like, you know, what? Hang on, I missed that one.
Let's finishing the song.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, in the first edition, it does say it's like in contrast to revised, it actually says they work with the Euthanatos, but they work with the Verbena and the Cult of Ecstasy and the Euthanatos as their closest allies, which I'm surprised to see because you don't think guys like this would partner up with somebody violent like the Euthanatos.
It's because they realize that they have a similar role with the Euthanatos in first edition, because the Euthanatos are, if I may brutally summarize them, the serial killers of mages. And
yes.
they realize that they're fighting the same entity. They're fighting the Technocrats and they're fighting the Worm together. The Euthanatos is doing it on Earth, while the Dreamspeakers should be doing it in the Umbra.
Yes, they're I think I described them earlier. The Euthanatos are the TX of mages.
Yes.
They are mages that kill other mages.
And same thing with the Verbena, because after all, you spun off from the Verbena, and you still have a lot of similar ideas to the Verbena. The only difference is that you're more right than the Verbena. And the Code of Ecstasy, well, how... We haven't really gone over foci in these videos, but how many foci do the Dreamspeakers use that could also be used by the Cult of Ecstasy, and vice versa?
Ayahuasca, for one.
Yes. The peace pipe, looking into a fire for divination, dancing around the fire and in an ecstatic state, storytelling itself, feeling good, treble sex, a lot of stuff that can overlap with each other. And yeah, they say, and they say in here too that even though they're strong and they're only allied with them because they're strong, the Order of Hermes and the Celestial Chorus would rather live in a world where the Dreamspeakers did not exist.
Yes.
You're just here. The Order of Hermes is thinking you're taking way too fucking long with the Umbra, and that they should be holding over the seat instead, but no, they have a forces seat they need to manage, and if they could pawn off forces to anyone else, they would, and then take spirit for themselves. And the Celestial Chorus is just trying to convert everybody to their side.
Well, they are priests, so.
And then we get into the fucking Technocratic Union, where, what was it, the quote here? The cleverest monkeys of all have captured reality and placed them in a museum where it dances to their tune.
That's good shit right there. I like that.
The clowns have taken over the circus in their minds.
Well, they aren't wrong.
You are puppets of the Weaver that don't realize that you're puppets of the Weaver, directly playing into the hands of the Weaver, and simultaneously getting rid of every other opportunity that the Trads could do to keep the Weaver in check. And you don't realize that you're going to cause mass dissension in what you're doing. Well, actually, no, you understand perfectly. You just don't care. You just ignore the consequences. And imagine, look here too, like Society of Twisted Serpents, a group that is never fucking brought up before and is never brought up again. So we have no fucking idea who these guys are supposed to be.
Yep. That is up to you, the storyteller, to decide.
The Marauders. They don't really hate the Marauders that much.
No, they pity them, which is weird because Marauder would literally just kill them and eat their spleen.
Come on, Saint Nick, good Santa Claus wouldn't do that to me.
And then we have the Lost Ones, where, do the Dreamspeakers like the Nefandi? Well, that's a trick question for you. Nobody likes the Nefandi.
The Nefandi don't even like the other Nefandi.
No. What do you think this was going to say? Now, here's something that's fucking awesome in this book, in first edition at the very least. They bring up every changing breed by name. Boom.
They really do, and that's honestly, well, not every changing breed. Like, they don't have the
Kitsune or Naga.
Where the fuck are my rats?
They don't have the Naga or they don't have the Ananasi there either. Actually,
where my rats at?
Ratkin are not listed either.
You sons of fucking bitches. My ratkin are not
listed. Can't do anything right, dude. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This book sucks.
No, it's my ratkin representation is just not here.
Yeah, I know.
So with the Bastet, from the Great Cats, we learned silent stuff and swiftness. The Bastet don't talk to each other or anyone else, so therefore we don't talk to each other or anyone else. Lesson learned.
Yep. Sounds about right.
The Korax. They hold an important role in our stories. His children, the shape-shifting ravens, heralds of change and fortune. Their shining eyes contain secrets. No matter how well they try to conceal the secrets, because the Korax, by their own loss, have to blab to everybody they meet. They tell us to look for hidden things and try to search for signs in the sky. And we do. So I imagine that there's some that we never got put into a Breedbook Korax, where the Korax will just go over to a mage and just spill the fucking beans to a mage, and then behold as a Karen gets compromised.
Yep. And then in fairness, there are worse people to tell a Karen location to.
Yeah, and the Dreamspeakers will have more in common with the Garo Nation than anything else. And speaking of the Garo Nation, wolves have always carried messages between the worlds, and the Garo today bear a message that cannot be ignored. Mother Earth and Father Sky are in a battle against those who would corrupt them, and the wolves who call themselves Tina, Sun Striders, and the Wendigo have much knowledge that they share with us, and our warriors will often join with them against those who would destroy the common dream. Boom! Yep. 3 werewolf tribes that you can immediately incorporate mages with.
They're tight with the Garo.
Exactly that. And I feel like they could go a little bit further than that, because how convenient would it be for a Dreamspeaker to get in contact with a Black Fury?
I mean, given how wild-based there are, I think it would be quite beneficial. Maybe they've got some like a Greek mythologist that still follows their religion and whatnot.
Because I honestly feel like the Black Furies are wasting their time with the Verbena. This is the group you should be talking to instead.
Absolutely. Well, the Verbena are wasting their time with the Verbena.
Yes, this is just a massive fucking mistake. How about your rare Dreamspeaker Red Talons interaction?
I feel like the Red Talon would just eat them.
And gain the quintessence and ascend.
Honestly, that'd be kind of sick. I'm not even gonna lie.
The girl. We were once close to the girl, and then they all died. Now there are too many of them gone, victims of the werewolves and human depredations. Their doom is ironic of all the shapeshifters. None love humans so much as these guys. Their healing ways and fierce protective natures gave us the examples to follow, and so we try to fulfill the role of the girl where the girl can't.
Play the video of Leonardo DiCaprio getting attacked by a bear in The Revenant.
There's, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you.
He says he's got his leg in his mouth, and Leonardo DiCaprio spent like a month in the hospital after that.
He got himself an Oscar for all of his troubles.
Literally got attacked by a bear just to win a fucking Oscar.
The Macaulay. Once in a while, we encounter a dream so ancient it makes our elders seem like babes. We call these the memories of the Macaulay Mimbe. So I feel like that's an unspoken mechanic. You're telling me that the Dreamspeakers can tap into Anesis? With that?
Yeah, that's a big goddamn deal.
And you did nothing with that idea?
Yeah.
No.
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 Mhm.
Okay, so I feel like that's the only thing that really get out the fucking bit with the Macaulay, where the Macaulay are so isolationist by this point they don't work with anybody but themselves and maybe the Beast Courts when they get their heads out their fucking asses.
Yep.
But that's
Well, a lot of the time they don't even leave the Umbra.
a lot of the time, yes, they're in the Storm Dimension. And then we have the Slouista, the shape-shifting children tricksters of Coyote. They share a drum in the dreams with us. Once again, why did you do nothing with that idea? If you're in this close contact with the Slouista, should you have brought it up more?
A little bit, yeah. They're kind of spiritually important.
And it's in our boldness leads into trouble, their cleverness will show them the way out. Everything just seems to fucking land in the laps of the Slouista. Nothing ever goes wrong with the Slouista. It's just everything goes right their way. It's like the fucking Mask. It's like the Mask movie. Everything just goes right for Jim Carrey 24/7.
Yep.
And then we have the Changelings. They said, long ago, the invisible folk, called fairies, lived as kin with us. When the world became too harsh for them, they ran away. Many humans who valued the beauty of these dreams offered their bodies as hosts to survivors. I feel like that is a massive bit of changing lore that even changing the dreaming does not go into contact with.
Yeah.
Where are you telling me that is it possible that the reason why we have changelings to begin with is because the dream speakers helped teach those who are eternal what the changeling way was supposed to be?
I mean, again, that's a pretty massive plot point. Or it's just the dude who wrote this is trying to like squeeze in the dream speakers as many places as they can.
Because that would be a big fucking contribution where we'd finally have a dream speakers with something they accomplished. And we're just going to put hold on this image of this guy French kissing his spirit while I'm going to this point.
Sure, let's give them a win.
Where the reason why we have changed to dreaming would be because of dream speakers. And there is a character concept you can do with the dream speakers where it's a guy who got old, died, became a spirit, and then reincarnated himself into one of his own descendants. And his avatar came with him. And that's a character concept. So that's a pretty wicked idea where I keep saying this. You went too in detail with this nonsensical social justice politics shit and not in detail of the actual cool shit that would lead to fun stories. And Revised does this too. It goes for both fucking books. It's fucking nonsense, and this is the same kind of fucking
It could have been
nonsense.
so much cooler, and it just wasn't.
It's the same kind of fucking nonsense shit they would see in Mage Revised, and no, not Mage Revised, Mage 20's edition, because Mage 20 is fucking unreadable. It's genuinely terrible.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The even first edition is pretty dense of a read and just does not flow well.
Because it feels like that Mage, it was a game that should have been fucking awesome, and it started off so strong with the Virtual Adepts and New World Order books, and then it went fucking downhill for some fucking reason. You were better when you were imitating and copying the style of Vampire the Masquerade and World of the Apocalypse. And then you went downhill when you tried too hard.
Worked.
You tried too hard is what happened.
Got to respect too much. Got to try too hard.
I mean, it's good that you want to be ambitious. It's good that you had a lot of ideas, but then you didn't really know how to execute any of them. And that's just the issue with Mage. It's always going to be what leaves a bad taste in my mouth with Mage. And going to this too, we have naming spirits where they start categorizing spirits. They say there's a big distinction between a nature spirit and an animal spirit, or a plant spirit. A nature spirit is more like a concept. It's natural phenomenon that happens, like lightning clouds storms. Well, an animal and plant spirit is a very specific animal or very specific plant. Like the corn maiden. You know, the Croton spirit that goes right up to you and just gives you a shuck of corn and just puts it in your hand and then walks away.
And then you eat it like friggin' Steven Seagal when he gets handed a carrot.
You gonna fish on cornbread? We're gonna make a movie. It's called Life. It's about us being in prison. Sounds like a fun time, right?
It sounds depressing as shit, in all honesty. But yeah, so I mean, like, I do. Is it possible that, you know, the friggin' corn? Oh God, what was it? The concrete corn statue in Ohio. Do you think that's like a place where the corn maiden, you know, goes to be venerated?
She'll summon herself around there and just have a little corn festival, a little corn stand, cornbread, corn syrup.
Yeah.
You reach your hand to a big cauldron and say,
called?
Would you like some corn syrup? And you just pour it down somebody's throat.
Oh yeah, the field of corn in Ohio, in Dublin, Ohio. Have you seen this shit? I'm not even joking. It's just like a fucking field of concrete corn. Hang on, let me get this shit to you. It's really funny.
It's posted in
Only
Discord.
the highest
It's gonna be in studio
fructose corn
notes. Check
syrup.
this.
Yeah.
Oh come on, Discord. It's not. There's no way that image is that big.
It's a 12 megabyte image he's trying to send me.
Dude, Discord fucking sucks.
We have the human
There we
spirits.
go. See, it's a field of corn.
We have the human spirits, and I go to this cornfield. We're going to this, and I open this image. I click Media tab. I zoom in on this, and there it is. And you find a human
That's where
spirit
you
here.
go to meet the corn maiden.
And there it is, and the human spirit puts that corn up his ass the long ways, and it feels great. And then with that, you get contestants and tasks from him doing that. But along with it too, there's human spirits that take the form of, I shit you not, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and Crazy Horse. And the reason why they're here, well, their souls are probably passed on to either the Oblivion or heaven itself or reincarnated in something else. These spirits exist as memories and vignettes of what these people were like in life. They're the memes that were left behind by these people that create the human spirit. So if you ever meet a version of Martin Luther King Jr. in your game, that is not Martin Luther King Jr. the spirit, that is a spirit that has taken on the appearance and memory of Martin Luther King Jr. that you'll have a conversation with up until the point of his death will be the stuff that he says to you.
Is his character sheet gonna be the depiction of him from the Boondocks?
Where he's old and shit. And he said, BT.
I don't know if I need the 16 gigabyte or the 64 gigabyte iPhone.
Black entertainment television is the worst thing ever created.
So does that make them a part of the person's soul?
It kind of does, because Reality Apocalypse brings it up too, where there's a distinction between the spirit and the soul. Where the soul is the part of you that will then go on and form either a wraith, or will move on to heaven, or will be consumed by Nefandi. And while your spirit is the memory of the life that you lived that can get caught and then can be used as an ancestor spirit, or can be passed on and reincarnate as someone else down the road. The distinction between the two. You also have time spirits, which are not so much like Kronos from like the Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, but more like a spirit that represents a specific year or a specific decade or century they can talk to. And they're more like fountains of knowledge of what happened within that year period. Odd. Then you have tome spirits, where we've talked enough about tome spirits on this channel. You also have paradox spirits. The fucking Langoliers that will chase after you and destroy your existence for the paradox you have caused. Do not ever come into contact with one of these.
They will kill you instantly.
And also bring up Chimera from Changing and Dreaming of this, saying, oh, if you have a specific thought that you thought really hard about and then you forgot the thought, it will create a Chimera that will then be a problem for a changeling, but not for you. Behold, as you just caused the next plot of Changing and Dreaming to happen. Through your own imagination, you caused the plot to happen. You also have the Wild, the Weaver, and the Worm, where self-explanatory. And then we have one thing in here called epiphalings, where they're more abstract ideas, so to speak, like currency or existentialism made manifest. And
That's actually kind of interesting.
if you get to talk to essentially the spirit of Immanuel Kant's philosophy, so to speak.
Yeah, I wonder how that'd be depicted. That's interesting.
Oh, well, have you played Nier Automata?
Well, no, I have not.
It'll be a lot like that. All right, so
Well,
let's go ahead.
I suppose I ought to play Nier Automata.
It is now where I can safely close the first edition book because we no longer need to access this information. We now go to revised, the stuff that is in revised that was not brought up in first edition. All right.
You know, I think it'd be interesting to see the time spirit of 1984 fighting the time spirit of 1776.
The answer to 1984 is 1776.
1776 is just George Washington with from America the Motion Picture. Have you guys seen the movie? It's fucking awesome.
I have.
It is the best depiction of American history in the world.
Did you not enjoy Hamilton?
I never saw Hamilton, actually.
The soundtrack to it actually is really good.
I know it blew up a long time ago.
Oh yeah, because
like,
well, Kyle's because everybody who works in musical theater is a fucking fraud. All these songs sound the fucking same across all these shows. And
yeah, I feel like that's why I didn't like all the musical numbers in Has Been Hotel all that much.
Exactly, because all these songs sound the fucking same. But
I will say though, epic fucking slaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last song in that album, "Would You Fall in Love with Me Again?" It's a tearjerker. It really is.
And we now go into the spheres, Kyle. Correspondence. The distance between point A and point B. How does this work? Well, the way that the shamans describe it, they just ignore distance. Say, oh, you're saying it's 50 meters away from me? Well, now it's not. Amazing.
That's kind of funny, actually.
I can just immediately get to whatever destination I want to get to with no effort. Where I think it kind of shows that they use this for almost entirely like teleporting shit.
Yep.
Either their physical bodies or their souls or into the Umbra.
What do you mean by distance? We're in the Tellurian. Everything's in the Tellurian.
Everything goes off of, I forgot what the paradox is called. Zeno's paradox. Where there is no real such thing as distance. Everything is infinitely far away and up close to each other at the same time. Behold, as I confuse you and I cast a spell through confusing you.
It's like that strip from Calvin and Hobbes where like Calvin's dad is trying to like teach him about RPMs and like the distance between the rings on the record. And then Calvin's just laying there in bed with his eyes open, just staring at the wall.
The entropy sphere. The architects of life. You use this sphere to separate true mages from the wannabe mages, aka anyone who actually engages with entropy as a sphere, or the people that actually really get into Mage Ascension. The book is this is a call out in the book. Where,
well, I mean, entropy is awesome, even though I don't know how it works exactly.
Well, how the Dreamspeakers use it is that it's almost entirely used for rigging chance in their favor. How you use entropy, Kyle, is that you use it to legally cheat at Mage Ascension.
So, like playing a halfling in 5e.
Yeah, you just cast a spell that makes it so any one you roll will count as a 2 instead, or more.
Just like you have God's Grace in 3.5.
Essentially that.
Which is just as well. I feel like when the sphere went from fate to entropy, it was corrupted.
It does. It really was the Kilpathic shit where the way that the Fonda used it became the norm for the entropy sphere. Even though that's not really how it's supposed to be used. Forces. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory anytime we bring up forces. They're using it to shoot fire and lightning out of their hands.
Yeah, the cool things.
Life. Once again, pretty self-explanatory as well. It's shaman magic. You're healing somebody with the rock milk and coconut egg. They mix it into a bowl and then you pour it down their throat. You know,
yep, and then you get your health back.
Kyle, you remember the lyrics to Witch Doctor?
By
hey, Witch
who?
Doctor, give us the magic words!
Actually, no, I don't think I've heard that song, actually.
Played the Rugrats version.
It's bing bang bong, walla walla bing bang.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, you heard this song before.
I memory hold that song so bad. I remember watching like edits of Sonic X where like Sonic was singing that song. It
The
was
fucking
kind of
witch doctor shit.
God, that was so long ago. That's insane.
Next up is matter, where the sharp, clear division between life and matter is that one is alive and one is dead. Amazing thought, Dreamspeaker. Why did you write this sentence?
It's really I don't know. It's kind of dumb.
But it's look at this fucking Yappuccino. Like, why don't you actually describe what the fuck you do with matter?
Because they don't know what the fuck matter is.
So apparently, no member of the Dreamspeakers ever use this matter unless you have overlap with the virtual adepts, which I feel like is really fucking stupid. This is just a dumb, cold take. All right, going into mind. Basically, you just use this to reach an altered state. You smoke the peace pipe, and then you're off into the Umbral realm and through astral projections, speaking with your ancestors and shit. Or you have a lucid dream.
Can
he what? He said something and he went away. We lost him. We lost him.
Died.
Fuck.
We had somebody literally just expire in
My
the middle of an
audio
episode.
cut out.
Oh, there we go.
I was saying here, can I propose an idea with matter as the local dream speaker?
Oh, well, go ahead.
With it's directly stated every object has a spirit to it, and the spirits can be altered. Or theoretically speaking, with matter, spirit, and prime, you can just create your own spirits, or it's that way.
But behold, as you turned that piece of wood into gold, and now he's gone from a wood spirit to a gold spirit.
Exactly.
Behold. I hope you like being a man that's made out of gold in the Umbra now. Because I just did that to you.
That or using spirit and matter in the Umbra to essentially just play Minecraft and start building mats on people like it's Fortnite.
You do that, you start shaping your own Umbral realm castle with matter.
Exactly. So, right there, those are ideas I just came off of spitballing in like 20 seconds. How the fuck did the full-grown men writing this book fail to come up with ideas like that?
It seems the minute you get paid to write one of these books, all of your good ideas are gone.
That is how it works, yeah.
Oh my god! Okay, I'm gonna calm myself down before I crash out with the Hollow Ones video. You got all these good ideas, and you end up wasting them.
We have the Prime. With the Prime sphere, it's the sphere that you need to deal aggravated damage to a spirit. So if you want to bust up a worm spirit, you need to take Prime. I'm just saying, that's not the book saying that, that's me saying that. You're also going to need that if you want to seem impressive into a totem spirit, because the totems don't want to have anything to do with the Dream Speaker unless you have either a Changing Seed or the Prime Sphere. And that's it. Or
that, and also the thematic implications of Prime, with Prime being the connection of all things in the universe in a spiritual sense.
You can also just grind the avatar background and just get 4 points in a ret and have a totem speak to you that way too. But what you do with this, what Prime is supposed to be, is that it's you coming in the closest with the one and all the energy involved in it. Essentially how it works is that Dreamspeakers, from what I'm understanding with this, see this as more like an energy conduit than more than anything else. So a bit of overlap with the Aetherites, I think.
Little bit, despite their disagreements with the Aetherites' way of doing things.
Where they also see it as like food or like bait you need to use to lure a spirit in to begin with. If you want to get a spirit's attention, just put some Prime on a stick. They'll come looking for it.
Alternatively, doing the opposite of using Prime to essentially mold and shape the Umbra around you, as stated in using Prime 2 in the second edition core book.
Mm-hmm. And
that or using Prime to literally create your own spirits out of nothing using the Spirit Spear.
You can do exactly that. You can just make new spirits. Imagine the ramifications of doing that.
Or better yet, be able to use Prime and Spirit at the same time to basically do a vicissitude on spirits, or it's to change the way they look or how they function, shifting their their willpower, rage, and gnosis scores around, so on and so forth.
Forcibly bind them into a fetish with that power.
Well, you need it, at least according to second E rules, you need Spirit 4 to force bind them into a fetish.
Right.
So with Prime 2, you can, not Prime 2, Prime 3, start shifting quintessence around from point A to point B. So with that method, you could just bribe spirits to be in a fetish for you.
You can. And then we have time. Where do these guys even fucking use time at this rate?
The short answer should be yes.
Doesn't seem like they do.
They just use it to slow down the raging, and that's it. Just combine it with entropy. And that's it.
The Aboriginal ones in Australia should use time like it's their secondary spear instead of mind, just thanks to the way it works in their culture. Well, it's just ignore that.
And there's a bunch of... Why the fuck do you have such a fucking focus on urban shamans and techno shamans? Urban primitive shit died already. That died in the early 90s, and it was not cool to be that. They keep wanting to bring this shit up. Okay,
what
so...
What even is an urban primitive supposed to be? Is it just like a guy that, like... Okay, just explain it real quick.
You dress like you don't know how to dress, is what this ultimately boils down to. And now
I thought it was supposed to be like a whole thing with... never mind, get to it later.
We have rules for awakening an item, by the way. You want to give an item life by giving it a spirit and waking up that spirit? Well, you can do so with a perception awareness roll to make sure there is a spirit to wake up. Then after you do that, go ahead and roll your spell. It's got to be 2 or more dots in the spirit sphere. Or you can just have the medium merit and just immediately pop it that way. And if you want to wake up an item, you can do so. And then the item decides if it likes you. And then Kyle, do I have the Beauty and the Beast mage? Do I have a castle just filled with shit that's alive?
Or you could have Howl's Moving Castle. I think that'd be kind of neat.
You can do that. You get to hang out with Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Mrs. Teapot. What the fuck was the name of the Teapot woman?
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, no.
Wasn't it just Mr. Teapot?
I think so. I'm not confident in the answer, but I want to say that.
You're the greatest sandwich ever. No, you're the shittiest mage ever. Stop eating me.
There's also a risk here about, because you're in the Umbra so damn much, you might end up going insane because of the Umbra. There's like a little paragraph here saying that. So make sure you have the mind sphere on your character so you don't go insane from prolonged exposure to the Umbra.
No balls. So far, I haven't lost the plot with no points in mind.
Because you haven't spent an entire month in the Umbra. And
not since Awakening.
And there's also details as to how the totem background works with mages. Now with totem and Royalty Apocalypse, you had to all pool points to get a big totem. Here, you put a point into a totem background, and it will take you to this table over here where you can start working with the totem. Where granted, you have to go ahead and pay for the services of some of these totems, where Bird Mother and Horse will only pony up for you if you have a certain amount of shit with you. But you see it on the screen, viewers. Here's the mechanics right here. Here's the powers. Here's the shit. Where all shamanic totems start off with 5 points. You can divide between willpower, rage, and gnosis, which is essentially a little tiny totem that's personal to you that you travel around with. And some of these have unique powers let's not read Horse. Let's go into something a little bit more interesting than Horse. Let's talk about television.
Can we do Mighty Yucatana? Or we save it just keeping that one in Yucatana video?
This totem aids all forms of communication by lowering the difficulty by 1, along with reducing the difficulty to performance rolls by 1. In addition, whenever a television is on invisible, the character gains a -1 difficulty to all modifiers involving stealth because of the power of the distraction that television provides. Finally, the difficulty of using all mind magic on someone who's currently watching television is reduced by 1. The ban, which is the same as Royalty Apocalypse, you have bans with these. The Dreamspeaker can never turn off a television or turn the volume down.
That sounds kind of obnoxious, but I also think that's kind of funny. You're literally like a boomer watching Fox News, man.
Can this extend to radios as well?
You just have your TV on. It's like 3 in the morning. You got the it's 2004 in the Mage game. You have the advertisements for the ringtone subscription service that nobody knew how to leave. You got Crazy Frog on your TV at 3 in the morning.
Oh god, that'd be fucked. That'd go crazy, dude.
I can't turn it down. You turn it down.
But you're just sitting here like the end of a Clockwork Orange with your eyes peeled open, watching Crazy Frog.
That's great.
There's also Spirit Allies as a mechanic too, where they say like here's a Mirage Spirit, here's a Poltergeist Spirit, here's a Horse Spirit, here's the stats for the Horse Spirit, it's got 20 points of power, here's the shit that's from Right After the Apocalypse that we pwned over into this, pun intended, and then you get a dog, Spirit Crow, Spirit Ghost as examples, and basically just pull out your copy of Axis Mundi, because as a werewolf player you probably have one of those already, and I'm flipping through this. Is there anything in this that's worth a fuck? I mean,
wait a second. With the Spirit Ghost
Doesn't
thing, that
seem
just
like
made
it,
me
really.
think about something else, really. Wouldn't it be interesting, at least if a Dreamspeaker character, of actively trying to, like, help wraiths transcend, as to spear, the tradition that would have the most meta knowledge on how wraith would work logically?
Well, yeah, but
the best means
we have
help
to
do
use
that?
to have that too. And but yeah, you can have both of them working to make sure that you can get your ass out of here. Go ahead and ascend.
Exactly.
I like this static. Oh, I see. This is if you were going like a fucking sorcerer road. This is the kind of character creation rules you would use. Okay, that was confusing me. All right, I was looking at something else on a different page. All right. So there's your rule for making a sorcerer. I mean, we could just go back to this for the sorcerer episode. But yeah, that's for your spirit sorcerer revised rules. Is going in and putting shaman shit in your game. This looks stronger than some of the other powers that were in the 5 points of this. You can summon a spirit with a maximum of 50 power. So Black Unicorn and some shit.
Wait, what?
As a static shaman, which is a sorcerer, a hedge wizard that can summon. You can summon spirits like Black Unicorn at 5 points.
It's kind of fucked.
Well,
yeah, that's the weird thing. Like me and Slouista noticed with like mage and sorcerer. Feasibly speaking, a mage can do everything a sorcerer to do, just doing it as a linear spell.
Yes.
No. For whatever reason, you just don't bring that up much at all, and just force you to use your spears, despite you being able to logically use both power systems at the same time.
Oh yes, ephemera sorcery is so strong.
And take a look at what else you got. You also got Spirit Awakening, which is another sorcerer path where the shaman can use all fetishes. Okay, so at level 1, you can just pick up a royal fetish and just use it regardless of level.
That's supposed to be a level 4 spirit power, by the way.
And you can just pick up a clave and use it. Boom.
Well, yeah, that is something you do level 2 spirit.
Yeah, like depending on how strong the shit is. Like I just highlighted the text. Like it depends on how powerful it's not the gnosis rating of the fetish. It's who made the fetish that determines how I can use it at what level.
It's like rank 1, I could just have 1 point in spirit and get away. Rank 5, like need 5 points in spirit, so on and so forth.
There's also gauntlet manipulation with the sorcerer, where you can increase the size of the gauntlet if you want to be a fucking asshole and ruin the day of any sort of Geruvu. How could you tell you're using this power?
Wait, what?
Like with gauntlet manipulation, how can you tell you made the gauntlet thicker?
Well, you're normally supposed to be able to vaguely sense that. Even with Spirit 1, you can see the gauntlet and how thick it is.
I made the gauntlet
But
thicker,
for a sleeper,
and I accomplished it for my own personal reasons. I'm so glad I did that, and I have nothing really gained from doing this.
It could be like
it's kind of hard to have witnesses when you change the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Or you could have like some, like Banes or something like that in order to prevent a place from being corrupted. You could thicken the gauntlet in order to prevent them from passing through.
Well, you can also decrease the gauntlet too, and you can decrease it up to 5 levels.
So it's gonna be a battle of who if they have more gnosis or you have more quintessence in that point.
Yeah, you don't control the spirit you summon. You just shorten the gauntlet and then just behold, as all the banes pour out of the gauntlet at once.
And the typical background gauntlet is what, like 6?
Yes.
Normally. Imagine you're just like a psychopath dream speaker, and with that spell, you just increase the gauntlet rating to 10 in an area and have everyone just die instantly.
Yeah, just progressively die as their souls are cut off and the Weaver wins.
That'd be terrifying,
Basically.
actually.
You all get tacoed.
Oh, right there, Nefandus Dream Speaker right there came up with the idea.
Well, they did mention earlier in the book, I didn't say it, like the paragraph did pop up, that Barabi dream speakers do operate like that. If a dream speaker falls and their avatar gets inverted and become Nefandi, that's exactly the kind of shit they do. Spirit terrorism.
Spirit terrorism would be like a sick band name, though.
And then, and then you can also summon an asteroid. Do you have any control over an asteroid you summon? No, well, not really. You roll charisma and summon, and that will summon a fucking asteroid spirit, which is basically a very specific kind of spirit, such as a healing, ghost, or fire elemental, that will then come over and will begin to wreck shit for you. And that's your mechanic. So it's the same kind of summoning before, but...
yes, healing elementals.
It's spells. Okay, skipping through all this. Can we get to the predetermined characters, please? Okay, fast forwarding through this. Alright, here it is. So here's your pre-generated characters. We got the Urban Techno Shaman. This is just a virtual adept, for fuck's sake.
Yep. But they're not going to tell you that.
Oh. And then, what else is here?
Kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie.
We got the Rotten Shot of Thunder, which is that Norse idea that we were bringing up before. Go ahead.
I mean, I think that idea would be pretty sick, I'm not going to lie.
I am modern-day Viking, King of Diggadurg, and I come over here with my sword made out of blood that shoots lightning out of it.
I mean, again, that sounds awesome.
He's got 2 points in forces, he's got 2 points in matter, and he's got 2 points in spirit he's set.
Yep. He can kill basically anything.
He knows what he's doing. He's got an entropic avatar, too.
Good shit.
Oh, that's metals. Hell, actually. I can just got Gregnor the Barbarian coming out the deep Umbra.
We got a concept here called Lost Medicine Woman. Now, is the medicine she's doing lost information, or is she just lost as in direction? Like, she's just here in the scene and she doesn't know how she got here?
The answer is yes.
Let's
see.
Well, that's how you know she's lost. She's got only 2 points in Arret. Even though the avatar background says 3, there's only 2 Arret points, and she has 3 points in mind and 3 points in spirit, so she knows spells that she cannot cast. Phil, is this a typo, Phil? Did you forget to fill in that background point, Phil?
I think so, yeah.
See, let me fix my shoulder again. Oh, fuck. Okay, go ahead, get back up.
Or does this just outright give us precedent that you can have spheres higher than you're alright?
You can. We got cultural counselor, this very petite woman in a very large chair. It
is a comically large chair, I'm not gonna lie.
We have a therapist that is a dream speaker. Couldn't this have just been anyone else too? I mean, this is kind of more like an orphan mage than a dream speaker mage.
Probably, yeah.
What the fuck else is there? Electronic tinker. Okay, so once again, we're getting bored with the
another
idea
virtual
of,
adept.
It looks like you're bored with the idea of writing dream speakers and you're just making virtual adepts.
That's what it feels like.
I don't think you guys actually had enough ideas to really flesh out the dream speakers, because it really is just, oh, here's every miscellaneous idea that we couldn't put into anyone else or into Verbena, and now here they are.
Yeah, this book kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's see here. I feel like that word's a little racial, so I'm not gonna say the word behind spirit in that one.
Yeah,
Spirit.
it's not what it means,
Well,
but
like,
like
I
it
can
can
say
be
it.
misconstrued.
How'd that come into
Spirit.
being? Like you call them that because they scare you or something?
Yeah, that it never made much sense to me.
He comes from a long line of Native Americans, and he fought in World War II, and he sees ghosts and spirits in war, and they are able to point out where they are on the battlefield. I'm guessing what the concept is. I'm only half.
Wait, what was the name of
this.
the what was it? The End from? No, where's that the sniper?
The Sorrow from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, he's the Sorrow basically.
Yeah, you see, you could go down a cool direction with that.
Yeah,
You-
this one's a decent concept. I like this.
He made that into a character. We got Judge, Jury, and Executioner, which is a Soviet Turkish man that hates communists, wickedness and mage, is now going around with a gun, a point in mind, a point in prime, and a point in spirit. Well, 2 points in each. And now he's just going around killing communists.
Based.
Pretty based. Yeah.
And
Jinx, you owe me soda now.
and what was this? He's got Soviet surplus weaponry. He's got a monk's cassock. He's got heavily used prayer book, and he's essentially this. He's the deserter from Disco Elysium, as a character.
I really do got to finish that game.
He's over here. Kind of that game throws me through a loop, man. It goes back and forth between having some of the best running and some of the worst running I've ever seen.
Well, they're communists, you know.
It goes so we have the game that created the conversation with the dice maker, and the conversation that you have with, I'm not going to say it, it's the fucking last conversation you have in the game. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil the secret. And then you had the racist lorry driver.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I accidentally learned racism to try and get past Measure Head.
No, I mean like the bald guy that you meet. That's just a fucking.
Yeah, I
lorry
know.
driver.
I learned it from him. That's where I got the thought process, and then it finally went through, and I had to use it to get past Measure Head.
I almost uninstalled Disco Elysium after I met that character. That was just it's so jarringly bad. What else is in here? We have the Witness of the Apocalypse, which is this guy who's freaked the fuck out with sunken eyes and open mouth.
It's Charlie Manson.
He's a Ret 1 mage. So that means he can't use magic.
Well, he can sense magic. Just can't really cast any sort of useful spell. But he's aware of it, and he knows that the Week of Nightmares happened in 1999, and he's pretty sure the world is going to end any day now, and basically just trying to help everybody figure out that, hey, the world will end tomorrow. You gotta listen to what I say or it's going to happen.
He's just a soothsayer.
Yes. He's the person on the side of the road where instead of getting a job, he says the world is going to end tomorrow.
He just has like that wooden board across his shoulders that just says the end is near.
The end is nigh, and that's it. Get a job. Get a job, my guy. It's not going to happen. And then there it is. I'm closing the other book as well. That's it. That's the Dreamspeakers, everybody. All right, closing thoughts. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right, so this could have been a hell of a lot better. I feel like that's
definitely could have.
It's a bunch of missed potential. It isn't as bad as the Verbena.
It's not as bad as the Hollow Ones by a long shot.
Yeah.
That one actually had me nearly crying by the end.
The Hollow Ones was just a stupid idea. That was just a stupid idea that you went way too fucking far with. It wasn't even anything that you could have salvaged. It was just the correct answers to the Hollow Ones was just don't do it. Don't do anything you just did with the Hollow Ones that you did anyway. But with the Dreamspeakers, it's the reverse issue. With the Hollow Ones, you said way too fucking much that nobody asked for. The Dreamspeakers, you didn't say enough. There's so much stuff that...
And it was still like a super wordy and just convoluted story that went on in that book. And through it, there was no message. There was no great moral standing. There was nothing really to build off of. Like, it introduced some interesting ideas, like traveling between the planes, teleportation, spiritual mysticism, better collaboration with the changeling breeds... And it went absolutely nowhere.
This is a revised book that I don't think needed to exist, because the revised book does not actually add anything to the Dreamspeakers.
No,
it
certainly does not.
It didn't derail them like it did with the Verbena.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's still not good when it was like, oh, we were cool, like talking to spirits and shit and guiding people as the shamans, and then the Inquisition happened, and then Freud and Karl Marx happened, and now everything sucks, and we did absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah,
cool.
Freud, your mother,
cool and good.
Your mother, yeah.
I still love the bit where it's like, I don't know, I don't know why I feel this way about her. and your mother, she was also a woman, yes? Fuck, dude, you're right.
Everything just boils down to sex. I don't know. I think Freud was projecting with that.
He absolutely was.
I think
There's no doubt about that.
I think Freud was bricked the fuck up and he just didn't fuck enough people.
Well, I mean, when you take like mountains of cocaine.
This is the kind of shit you make.
Yep.
At least Heinz Hartmann, the guy that actually has the good ideas that came from Freud, at least put this in a way that made sense. And that's the guy that we should be talking about instead. But I feel like the Dreamspeakers, I'm not going to say they shouldn't be in Mage Ascension. I'm not going to say that.
No.
But I'm going to say that they should be in the hands of a more capable writer, but I'm going to be frank with you. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to improving the Dreamspeakers. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to come in and have the answers for you in the book where I go into animism, shamanism, and all those other isms, because I just don't know that. I don't live that kind of life. I don't have that kind of background. I'm not the kind of guy you're going to go to for an improved Dreamseekers book. And I'm not fighting anybody else either, because everyone else that you got to write for Mage 20 didn't know what the fuck they were doing either, and were just kind of like smoking bananas and sniffing their own farts. Where instead of actually improving upon the Dreamspeakers, you kind of just took the Dreamspeakers apart.
Their whole thing.
They just took the Dreamspeakers apart and just made a bunch of mini Mage traditions out of Dreamspeakers, where that's not really fixing Dreamspeakers now, is it? You just kind of compartmentalize them even more than they already were.
Which is why I feel like that they'd probably be a better fit for the Desperate Alliance than for the traditions.
More so, but if we had a 4-way competition for the Ascension War instead of a 3-way competition, I feel like that would be improvement. That would be a massive improvement.
Probably, yeah.
Where Mage Ascension is always going to be the game that I can see a really good game in, but there's so much shit that gets in Mage Ascension's own way that it prevents it from being the masterpiece that I know it could have been.
Yeah.
That's going to be what always bothers me with Mage. Now, I am playing Mage Ascension on Tuesdays, and I'm having a great time running it. And I'm confident in running the Mage Ascension again, where I made the offer for the Friday game after we're about to finish a Wraith game naturally. That's something that you've never heard before now, is it?
Well, I mean, we only tried it once before, but then again, I don't think any of us were equipped to play the game.
Well, no, we never played Wraith the Oblivion on this.
Oh, not Wraith. Oh, I thought you said Mage.
But with Wraith the Oblivion, anybody can really hop in to play that one. It's just you gotta have the emotional maturity to actually play Wraith the Oblivion and not get in the way of your own power gaming shit. You can't power game in Wraith the Oblivion with anyway. But
no, that's basically a survival horror tabletop game. You were playing Silent Hill.
It is. You don't get in combat. You try to avoid combat if possible in Wraith the Oblivion. But with this game, with Mage Ascension, I can see the game that you were trying to make, and I can appreciate that. But Mage Ascension is just going to be a game where I'm never going to be fully satisfied with it. And this is the reason why I put off the Dreamspeakers episode for as long as I did, because of just how dissatisfied I was with the Dreamspeakers as a faction.
And honestly, I can see where you come from, because it really just doesn't go anywhere. And I feel like the end result, if somebody had like done to this faction what they did in like Wendigo 2nd edition or Wendigo 1st edition, then and actually like gotten in touch with people who live shamanist lifestyles in the modern era in order to get a better idea of like the history and how it impacts modern society, then I think maybe they would have had a little bit more to go off of. A lot of this book just feels like half-assed in terms of, you know, how much the writers actually knew about shamanism.
Exactly.
And I think that's really where it struggles, is that it doesn't really seem to make an attempt to understand that way of life and how it can be turned into a viable part of the game.
And instead of going down the route that they did with the Kuei Jin, where White Wolf just admitted, you know what, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, we're just going to make a game that's fun for the hell of it. Instead, you went down this kind of social justice apology route with the Dreamspeakers that got in the way of it being the fun group that it should have been.
Correct.
You know, quit trying to be the voice of people that you're not. Just make a game and make the game fun. I'm not asking you to make something that doesn't really give a fuck about anyone at all. I'm not asking you to make Racial Holy War, where that's a book that's built off the back of bullshit. But you don't need to be this master of every single culture that you're writing about. Sometimes you just got to make the story that you're thinking about. Accuracy be damned sometimes. I mean, try. At least try, but you don't need to be perfect, because you will make research mistakes. You will get some details wrong because you're just not from that walk of life.
Yeah. And, but at the bottom line is like any slight, well, not really slight, but any mistake can be forgiven if the game is fun and engaging, and at the very least gets people interested.
And there we have it. So, Slouista, any closing thoughts from you? Anything at all?
Seems a little bit like a fear of ambition and pride towards the end there.
A little bit, huh?
It does feel like it, yeah.
The story here, kids, it's White Wolf doesn't have bad ideas half the time. They have really good ones most of the time, at least. They just are really bad at executing them.
It's you have a good start, but you just don't know how to stick the landing, and that's ultimately what ended up fucking up the company with the Oblivion, Demon of Fallen, and they ran out of money.
Yep.
Like, if we had more time, I would go into more detail on how, like, I would try to probably fix them, and now it'd be focusing far more on the Umbra and them kind of being the Gaian-aligned mages, for lack of a better word. Because that's basically what they're supposed to be. Their hypothetical end goal for Mass Ascension is essentially to destroy the Gauntlet rating to make it where they wouldn't even have a difficulty to casting any of their spirit spells.
And even then, there's a 10th sphere we never really been into detail with, because the book didn't go into.
Oh yeah, I
into
was
detail
about to
with
bring
it.
that up.
Yeah.
Yes, naming.
The 10th sphere of logic is something that they were trying to get as well. It's the power of being able to define words, and by defining words, you can change universal natural law. Behold.
And that is true. It is quite literally the pen beeth mightier than the sword.
They wanted to be Word Girl from the PBS show. Essentially.
I actually don't think I remember that one.
With that. It's about a colored girl from Mars that lands on Earth and gets adopted by colored folk.
And she has power over words. It's amazing.
She's saying,
Or
I'll
like
be the
Paige
judge of
from-
that, and she starts judging you.
Judge Holden style.
Or like Paige from Deadlock, for a more modern example.
Yes.
And then she blasts the words, and you get graded based on how well you can type.
Exactly that. So go ahead and download a copy of Mario's Teaches Typing today, kids. Let's find out how. Post your score in the comments down below.
Oh, Mavis Beacon.
I'm gonna hit the stop recording button.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
time, everybody.
All right, GN.